Bella once again, and you are on Discover with Bella. If you just jumped or bumped on this channel for the first time, thank you so much for dropping by, and I will just ask you to please subscribe, click on that subscription button, and do not skip. Please share this video among other of my videos with all your friends, all your colleagues, so that we can help each other, so that we can learn with each other. And you never know, you can get something insightful, something informative, something that can teach you one or two things. We can always learn together. So today, as the video suggests, you're not here by accident. And during this summer, I acquired a new talent, and I was just teaching myself how to to knit. So I started knitting my winter scarf, and it's coming out. Woo! Sorry guys, it's coming out pretty nice. And so I was mixing turquoise blue and pink, and look at the thread that is remaining. It's almost done. So before we digress to whatever we wanted to talk about, I just wanted you guys to know that I also have a hobby of knitting, so that I knew how to knit. I just learned it here on YouTube, and it's actually almost done. I missed some nice stages. Like there are places where I didn't capture the patterns properly, but that's the beauty of learning, and that's the beauty of let me adjust myself properly. That's the beauty of learning. We're all students of life, and we learn every day. So as the video suggests, today I just want us to have a chat and talk about the marriage visa and or the spousal visa for whatever country you want to move to. Let's say you want to move to the United States, to the United Kingdom, to Canada, to Ireland, to Australia, any country of your choice, whatever country you want to move to. And it is a very good visa that you can always use to move to any other country. And one thing that you should know is that the requirements of this visa vary from country to country, and whatever is used to determine whether you can get that visa varies from country to country. And my question is, after this video you would understand what you need to know before you get this spousal visa. Is it important? Do you have to get it at all costs? And what are the implications of having this visa for yourself, for your security, for your peace of mind, and for your perhaps your children, if you have children. So to start with, like I stated, different countries have different policies and procedures of acquiring a spousal visa. And some countries, like for example maybe the United States, the United Kingdom, they have various procedures. They would ask you, for instance, to share details of your spouse. Let's say, for instance, if you want to move to the United Kingdom, they would ask you to show evidence that you have a relationship with this person that you want to marry in the United Kingdom. And also, it would be, of course, it is important for them to determine that their person or their citizen is not getting themselves in trouble just marrying anyone that there's no basis or there's no ground for them to be married. People have transactionalized the marriages nowadays. I don't know if it's a good word, or people have commercialized marriages nowadays. And like some people would say nowadays, marriage is for convenience. I don't know how true that is, but sometimes people enter marriages for their own different for their own different interests, and you never can tell why people are getting married. So this is one thing I would want to talk about, moving to a country through a spousal visa. Number one thing you should know is it can go south or it can be productive. What do I mean by being productive? This visa can be productive in the sense that or it can be beneficial in the sense that when you move to that specific country, you would be entitled to certain rights as a citizen because of the fact that you're married to a citizen of that country. And what do I mean by that? for instance, if you get into that country and you want to study, you might not have the challenges as someone who would come to that specific country on a student visa. You would not be forced or you would not be compelled to prove funds, because already you have a resident permit through your spouse that is allowing you to be in that country, and all you'll have to pay for is tuition fees. And then number two is it would also save you some of the what is it called, you get some rights as a not your, I mean as a resident, because you would hold a resident permit of that specific country, and you will not just be treated like any other person, because perhaps you have the rights to be in that country because you're married to a citizen of that specific country. And also if you have a child in that country as well with your spouse, it would also make things a little bit easier, as opposed to someone who doesn't have such ties to that country. And then also after a number of years, if you meet, like for instance, I think if I'm not wrong, the UK is about, if you meet 5 years, if you stay in that country for 5 years, you'll get your permanent residence, and or in some countries they call it indefinite leave to remain. What does that mean? You will not get a passport for that country, or it's not like you're getting a British passport, but you'll just get proper rights of a citizen of that country. You can indefinite leave to remain means you can enter that country anytime, leave anytime, come anytime, without restrictions, without being harassed at the borders, or without being treated as someone who is coming for as a first timer. You will get your rights will almost be closer to that of a citizen, but you're not a citizen. Of course, definitely you will have to do your exam, your citizenship or something kind of exam to prove your status in that country for you to be allowed to get your indefinite leave to remain, or for you to get your residence permit, depending on the country you're in. Like I said, maybe it could be Australia, it could be the US, it could be the United Kingdom, and so forth and so on. But then again, this kind of visa, it is not a bad one. Like I stated, it's a very good one, but it sometimes goes south. We've looked at the benefits where it could go right, but then sometimes it can just goes left. And it has gone that way for very many people. And one thing, before you decide to come on a spousal visa, you need to consider various factors. When you're coming on a spousal visa, always make sure, number one, that this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, at least, even if it's 5 years. You're so sure that this is a relationship that I want, this is someone that I want, this is someone that I want to commit my life to. And this is, in short, I'm saying you need to be very sure that you want to live with this someone. Why am I saying this? Some of you go online on dating apps. It's not bad to meet someone on a dating app. It's the way most of us are meeting people nowadays. But some of you go on a dating app, you meet someone on a dating app, you chat for maybe a month or 2, or even 3 months, or even let's even say 6 months or 1 year, but you have never met this person. The time you meet the first time you meet this person officially is when they're coming to your country, maybe to marry you, or when they invite you to the country that they're in, then they propose to marry you, right? And then it means that this is the only first tangible moment you're getting together as a couple to live together, and you start getting now, the true nature of each other starts coming out, like the true colors of you guys, all of you guys start coming out. So it has become difficult for some people, because you can only know a person after you live with them, after you see them. You can see their bad side, you can see the negative side, you can see, in short, I'm just talking about true colors. I'm not saying that everybody turns out bad, but I'm talking about this because these are things that have happened to my friends. These are people that has happened to my close relatives. And try and know someone better. Like, I would give you guys a story. There's a lady who came here to the United Kingdom, and through a spousal visa. She had met this person online. Then she gets to the United Kingdom, things become better. But then when she lands at the airport, she realizes that when now this guy picked her at the airport, they drove home. But then she found out that this guy lives in a I don't want to use it a pigsty, like, but not a very good environment. Like, she was even asking herself, it is better where I was in my country back home than where I've come. You live in a place that is so deplorable, that does not look nice, does not look good. Things start, maybe this person does not even work, maybe they're just on benefits, but then you think that this is someone you could live your life with. But then they have not told you their true status, their true financial position, but then you just think that you can live your life. Some people have left very good careers back home to come join people who do not even have a sense of direction abroad. And I'm not talking about the United Kingdom alone. Most countries, most developed countries, there are people who have lied and deceived people to moving into their countries in terms of marriage. There's another lady that I know that also moved in one of these countries, and when she got there, this guy was just also on benefits, and he was not having a proper, of course, you can be living here on benefits, but then when you send someone money back home, it looks like a lot of money, but it's because our currency compared to some of these currencies, the dollar, the pound, the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, of course, definitely if you're sending money from the developed countries back home, it is a lot of money. So when the guy keeps sending you money when you're back home, you think that perhaps this guy is rich, but then maybe this man is just on benefits. This man is just living on benefits, and you think that you've now met your hero, someone who's going to change your life, someone who, you found a godfather or something. So this lady comes to the whatever country that she was moving into, and she realizes that this person has doesn't have a job, and he depends on benefits from the government. So this man, what he told her is, I would help you transition into the job market. Then this girl, definitely she got a job, but when she got a job, this man told her, I have brought you here to work for us. The man is so lazy, he doesn't want to do anything. He has even lied to their government that he's struggling to get a job. And most of the developed countries, perhaps if you're not getting a job, they will be giving you benefits, So he was getting benefits from the government. So he was not working, or, he didn't have a proper source of income. So this girl had to bask her ass out so that she could get a job. Unfortunately, after a few months, she got pregnant. Fortunately or unfortunately, she got pregnant. And you see, in most of these developed countries, raising a child is not difficult, but it is difficult. Why am I saying it's not difficult? It is not difficult from the financial aspect, because in some of these countries, food is really cheap and affordable. But most of these countries, education is free for children. And yeah, education is actually free, healthcare is free. So where else are you gonna spend money on this child? Definitely just a little money to feed them and clothe them and make sure they live in a good environment. But where the most time, or where a lot is put in terms of taking care of this child, is what we call childcare. Childcare is what really consumes people's time, and that's why you find that most people in these developed countries don't have many children. Someone has one child, 2 children. If they have gone too far, maybe 3 children. It is because raising a child in some of these countries, it is time consuming. You need to be there. You need to take these kids to school. You need to pick them when they have activities in school. You have to be there. You cannot leave these kids in the house alone like the way we do back home, like because you think maybe your oldest child is 7 years or 10 years, you leave them in the house with the other kids. No, it is against the law here. If you neglect your children like that, you can be taken to social services, and your kids can be taken away from you. So it is a lot. There's something called school runs. You need to run and make sure that if your kid leaves school at 3 p.m., you're supposed to be there to pick these kids. You're supposed, like, I think it's a very good way. It also helps parents to bond with their children. But for people who are coming from a system where this is not the way of life, it becomes a little bit difficult. It is yeah. So this man, they got a child, and so this woman has to work. She has to take care of the baby. The man just sits home. So the woman felt used because you brought me here to be your servant. Every time we get money, he's the one who decides what to be done with the money. It's quite sad and it's quite unfortunate. So you can also be used on that spousal visa if you're not careful. Another one is like I was just watching a documentary the other day. There's a lady who moved in one of these developed countries, and when it's quite an older story, and I think it's early 90s, late 2000s. Late 90s, early 2000s. This woman comes to this country. He lands at the airport, and when the man that he had met, the woman was a Nigerian woman. The man that he had met, of course, they were just dating and that kind of thing. So when they get home, the man starts acting different. He takes her passport away, and he definitely changes. Then he tells her that I will help you get a job. Then when he leaves for work the following morning, he leaves her a phone number of a lady. He says, you should call this lady, he will help you get a job. When this lady calls the lady, he calls her to a place where when she gets to that place, she finds out that that place is a brothel. And that's how she started being a prostitute, sorry to say. So be very careful with some of these people you meet. Some of them have mental issues, and they're not in the right state of mind. Some people are quite lonely, and they would want to mistreat you out of that, consciously or unconsciously. So, and especially some of us who come from developing countries, you find that someone marrying you is a form of them saving you from your poverty. You should never look at marriage as that. And then, because you will suffer in the name of wanting to live in a good country, but you do not have peace in the house that you're living in. Also, one thing you guys should know is I have had people who say, I just want this man to marry you or this woman to marry me. Like for example, now in a state like in a country like the United Kingdom, for you to get your permanent residence, you need 5 years. So I've had people who say that I just need 5 years to live with this person, then I divorce them. But trust me, never get married for the wrong reasons. At the end of the day, you have to be with this man or this woman for those 5 years. Can you imagine getting into a home where you don't love this person, you don't want them to touch you, you don't want to look at them? There's nothing as bad as not being in love with someone, but you're purporting to be in love. It is so sad because you will be frustrated, you will be sad, you will be annoyed, you will always be angry. It is not a very good thing. So do not marry people for the wrong reasons. Always try and make sure that anytime you're getting involved with someone, let it be for the right reasons. Some people have even been killed. You really need to be very careful before you engage into this kind of visa. And also, there's a lady who moved into one of these developed countries. And when she got there, the man started really mistreating her. He started beating her up. And it became really bad and sad until he even divorced her. And she had not met the number of years that would have required her to leave the country. So she was left in a mess. She had to apply for refugee status or something like that. Or I don't know, seeking asylum. You start feeling like you're against the law. You start feeling like you're illegal in that country. And you're also, maybe you have a child, or things just become difficult. Now this person has removed you from their visa. They cannot hold you anymore. I even have friends who've gone to some of the developed countries on a spousal visa. Like I have a friend of mine who came to the UK on a spousal visa, and her husband actually, after they had been here for about 2-3 years, this man is asking this girl for a divorce, and he has moved in with another girl from Kenya, just the next street. And he doesn't provide for the child. you know, and then he keeps threatening her because he knows she's on his visa. He can withdraw her anytime from her visa. Like, you just live like you're living on a thread, like this thread. Someone makes you feel like you're just living on this thread. You cannot do anything. You cannot question anything. You are always sad and anxious that what's going to happen next. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is if you're not sure about someone, if you're not sure about the status of your relationship, if you're not sure whether this is the reason why you want to move to a country, do not get married to someone for the intentions of them relocating you from your country to their country with the hope of a good life. Marry someone for the right reasons. Get married because you want to get married. Always do your due diligence. Make sure you know this person enough. Make sure you know that this is exactly what I want from this relationship. Do not just move. You will come to these countries and you will be frustrated. You will suffer, you know. These developed countries are very good, by the way. They are very good. But if you have come here through the right channels, and this is what I keep on saying in my channels, these countries are very good because the standards of living are good. The quality of life is good. Healthcare is good. Education is good. If you have children, your children will go to school for free. But if you are here illegally, if you are here on because you tried to, you know, fabricate your way through the system, you manipulated someone to marry you, you will always live like you're living on the edge. You will never have peace. You will never be happy. You will never be, just because you want to get papers. It's better sometimes I always think it's better for you to have peace than to have money or fame. So you want people back home to say, oh, she's living good because she's in the UK, she's in the US. But then again, deep down in your house, you're not happy. You do not even want to see your spouse. Do you understand me, guys? So for those who are intending to relocate on a spousal visa, make sure you love that person. People come here and they get frustrated. Do not do it for the wrong reasons. At the end of the day, love is not something that you can pretend about. Love is not something you can hide. It is a feeling. You cannot hold it for a very long time. If you do not love someone, you just don't love them. You know? I'm saying this and I'm saying it out of experience. It's not because I wanted to marry someone for anything. It's just that I got into a relationship with someone and I did not realize that I didn't love this someone. And this has happened to me, I think, twice. I just, you know, sometimes maybe you think this is someone who can just be a friend, but then they end up thinking that you guys can date. But then for the wrong reasons, time moves, it flies, you realize, oh Jesus, this is not what I want in my life, you know? And there's nothing like hard as pretending, because you will always see that this person is disgusting you. Even if they're the best person, they are good people, but you'll always see mistakes in them. You will always see negativity in them. You will always see them triggering you to, you know, anything they do will always be a trigger. So try as much as possible. If you want to relocate to this country, just look for a visa that you're going to be workable. But if you've been dating someone and you think you love them too much, at least try and meet this someone. Let the person who wants to marry you, don't just wake up in the morning and say, one day and say, I'm moving to the US, I'm moving to Canada, I'm moving to, you know. Like there's a lady I know, a friend of mine as well, who relocated to the US. This girl, we used to see her, she used to live, when she was back in Kenya, she used to date this guy, a white guy from the US. This guy used to come visit her in Kenya. I think I saw her on her Facebook page twice or 3 times. He came to visit her. But then again, this guy relocated her to the US. She even showed us pictures that he had proposed to her when she just arrived in the US. Then they lived for a couple of months, I think 2 or 3 months. Then this girl disappeared on social media. We were not seeing her. Then later on, then she sent me a DM on 2 or 3 months ago. Then she tells me, this is my new account. Then I'm like, oh girl, what happened? Then she tells me it's because the guy that brought me here, I left him because he's not who I thought he was. He had lied to me about so many things. So I have left him. I've started life with another person. You can imagine now how frustrating it is. And these guys had been legally married. It means that this lady, even if she doesn't want to say it, means like right now, She has to process the divorce before she legally gets married to the other person. So try. So as much as I know we have problems in our developing countries, don't live there for the wrong reasons. Don't circumvent your way or through dubious means to try just because you want to come and live in these countries, you know. Yeah, it can really be tough. It can really get tough. It can be really frustrating. And if you really want to come to this country, sometimes you can look for a job. You could look for a skill. We have skilled workers visa. Make sure you know, this country, the good beauty of this country is they respect skills a lot. If you're good at something, perfect it, and make sure you look for some of the skills that are highly marketable in these kind of countries, so that you can move here and just bring yourself here on your own visa. Another way that you can move into these countries is through a student. As a student, you can get a student visa, and you can never go wrong with studies. If you do well, you can look for a job after you graduate and something like that. But don't, if you're a sports person and you know, you think you're so good in sports, athletics, running, football, you can be a sports coach in a school, such like activities. Make sure you perfect those skills so that you can try to get your way into these countries with such skills. But once again, do not relocate for the wrong reasons. Do not use a spousal visa. Do not use someone to get you papers, because sometimes it always backfires. Sometimes it doesn't go as you think. Do your due diligence. If someone wants to marry you, try and at least visit them wherever they are for a couple, even 10 times. They can always invite you, you know. You can always come visit, stay 1 month, 3 weeks, go back, chat again, know each other. He comes to your country, visit you. You do that for about 6 times, back and forth, you know, so that the longer you stay with someone, the more you understand his way of life. And because one thing you should also know, that Europeans are not like Africans. We are just the same in terms of by the fact that we are human beings. But these people have their own way of life. They have their own culture that is not ours. And I don't blame them. Just the way they don't understand how we do some things is because it's the same way you think you will not understand how they do their things. So, and that is the beauty of diversity. And it takes time for us to understand and accommodate each other. You cannot just leave your country today. You met someone a month ago on a dating site. Then the next minute you're on a flight coming to live with them. You need to date this person. You need to know some of the things they do differently. Maybe they don't, in their culture, they don't cook fish. They eat fish raw. And in your culture, you have to cook fish. So when they bring food in the table, you see a fish on your plate like this, you'll be like, yo, girl, boy, what's happening? So try and learn people's way of life. Maybe someone's culture, maybe they don't shower every day. And for you, you shower 4 times a day. So you think that this someone who maybe showers once a day is dirty, you know? So try and look for, you know, try and learn someone, try and understand people's way of life before you just jump into marrying them just because you want to relocate. I don't think I can say much than this, but I hope you have taken something from me. Do not get on a spousal visa if you're not so sure about the person that is giving you that visa. You're gonna suffer and it may end up in tears. But all the same, I'm not discouraging you. I just want you guys not to make mistakes that people have made before. Thank you so much for always watching my channel. Make sure you share this video far and wide. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Summer is almost ending in England, and I'm just, you know, so happy because I've had so much fun this summer. But who am I? It's 7 p.m, I think 8 p.m, and I want to fix my dinner. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.